Hi guys, thank you so much for joining our Facebook Live. My name is Tessa and I'm one of the keepers here at Natural Encounters. And I'm also the trainer of our Pygmy Marmosets. So you can see them here behind me. So what's a Pygmy Marmoset? Well, Pygmy means small and Marmoset is a type of monkey. So they are a small monkey. They are actually the smallest species of monkey in the world. So a group of Pygmy Marmosets is called a troop. And in our troop we have 3 monkeys. So on that branch there you see the 2 boys, Benito and Beignet, and then over here eating some yogurt and lettuce on the tree trunk there is the Teak, the mother. So Teak had those 2 baby boys, Benito and Beignet, named after their father, in November. So today actually they just turned 5 months old. So these guys are very little, as you can tell, next to Timmy, our white-faced Saki monkey there, the size comparison. So Pygmy Marmosets' bodies grow to about 6 inches long and their tails 6 to 9 inches long. So they're about the length and weight of a stick of butter. So what they're doing right now is having some fun enrichment, and this enrichment is enticing natural behaviors for them. So what they would do in the wild is search for bugs or fruit, and they would also eat tree sap. So that's kind of a weird thing. So they have this cool adaptation where they would actually climb up into the trees, use their lower teeth, kind of like a saw, to make a hole in the tree trunk, and the sap would come out and they lick up the sap. So we have yogurt instead. This is not a real tree, so it doesn't have tree sap. So they're eating yogurt off of the branches, and they are also looking inside that little hanging fun enrichment toy there, and there are bugs and there are crickets. So crickets are one of their very favorite bugs to get. Oh, you see he has one in his mouth. So this species is native to the Amazon rainforest. And so they need lots of trees. So you can see they get their food source from their trees. They hang out in the trees. So conserving our rainforest is really important for them. So Teak is the mother there. She is the one eating the food, showing the babies, hey, there's a food source here. And then next to her are 2 boys, Beignet and Benito. So Benito, they're very different. Even though they're twins, they're very different. Benito has a very strong-willed personality. He's very organized. If a monkey could have a day planner, he would have one. Beignet, on the other hand, he's a little bit of a wild child, doesn't follow the rules, does what he wants. So even though they have their differences, one thing they have in common is they're super energetic. So you see them kind of running around, very squirrely, climbing the trees, very fast movements. So they're super energetic. And if any of you at home are also super energetic, one way that you guys can put that to a good cause is to help us with our Miles for the Wild program that we have. So it is a virtual fitness fundraiser that we have going on. And all of those proceeds go to our partners that help save wildlife. So you can go to our website, houstonzoo.org, if you want to find out more details about that. And they do get enrichment like this every day. It's always changed up, but it's always going to be something that helps elicit natural behaviors. Lindsay asks, how do they stay active? So the enrichment is a good way that we keep them active. We'll do hanging things that they have to climb on and use their claws and teeth to kind of dig food out of. But also if you just watch them throughout the trees, they're going to be climbing those trees really fast. They have long claws instead of flat nails like other monkeys. So they use them to climb up those trees really quickly and hold on. And they also can jump 16 feet in the air between trees. So even though they're so little, they pack some power. Up above them is Timmy. He is our white-faced Saki monkey. And we like to call him Uncle Timmy for them. So he is a different species of monkey, but he does treat them like a very good uncle. Just before the Facebook Live, the Pygmy Marmosets were sleeping in a pile, and Timmy actually was petting them. So he likes to groom them. It's a social bonding thing for them. And when you guys do come to Natural Encounters to see our Pygmy Marmosets, you mostly will see them up in the higher area of the treetops here, where they are sleeping and running around, unless of course they have fun enrichment like right now, so they're up nice and close where you can see them. And they're using those sharp claws that they have right now to dig through that. We have some hay and crickets inside of that enrichment. So they'll use that to climb, hold on, get food. For any of you just joining, these are our Pygmy Marmosets. They are the smallest species of monkey in the world. And we have 3 of them. So mom, her name is Teak, and her 2 twin sons, Beignet and Benito. And they get a diet here. It's kind of similar to what they would get in the wild with lots of different fruit and bugs. Crickets and mealworms are definitely their favorite. Melissa asked, do they have a preferred tree species in the wild? You know what? That is an awesome question because I don't actually know the answer to that one. I'm not sure of the tree species, but I do know that they only stay on a handful of trees within their lifetime. They're such a little monkey and trees are so big that they can chew around 1,000 holes for sap in a tree. So they don't have to go to many trees so that they can get a food source. But I'm going to have to Google what species of tree they like. So the one going in there, that's Benito. He's much more adventurous. Beignet kind of likes to tag along, hang out on the sidelines and watch first. He wants to watch and learn what his brother and mom do, and then he'll join in. And they're very playful. You see them holding on to each other's fur right now. They play tag throughout the day. And those long tails, you see he has it wrapped around the branch there. They use that to balance. So when they're jumping from tree to tree, when they need to really balance when they're climbing, that long tail helps them. Also in our exhibit, we do have a couple birds. So we have 3 imperial pied pigeons, as well as Charlie, our Victoria crown pigeon. Isn't he gorgeous? Charlie doesn't interact as much with the marmosets. He's not as active as the boys. Lauren asks, how can you help save them in the wild? I love that question. So obviously trees are really important for them. They get the tree sap from it for eating, they climb in it, they sleep in them, so they need trees. And right now the Amazon rainforest is facing a lot of deforestation. So one simple way that you guys could all help out at home is by recycling your paper or using recycled paper products. Also, joining in on our Miles for the Wild campaign helps save animals in the wild as well. You can run around and climb just like our monkeys do. And we have some greens there as well. They really like their greens. They eat healthy. And these guys look kind of big now. They're almost the size of mom, but when they were born, they were about the size of your thumb. So very little, and they clung on to mom's back for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then as they grew a little bit older, got a little too big for mom's back, then they started to adventure out on their own, and now they're just running all over the place. One of the ways, if you do come here and see them, to tell them apart is actually that Beignet kind of has big, wide moon eyes, and his hair is a little bit more slicked back, whereas Benito kind of has a furrowed, bushy brow in between his eyes. Beignet is also sometimes a little bit larger, but that could change as they grow. It looks like Benito is hogging all of the crickets for himself right now. And Teak, you see her looking around real fast. She's always really vigilant, so she's looking out for any predators. And luckily, they don't have to worry about any predators here. But in the wild, when you're that small, everything is your predator. So ocelots, snakes, hawks, a lot of different predators. Darian asks, are all the trees real? Not all of them are real. So this really big one that they're on right here, it's called gunite. It's a material that we use that's really long lasting. So that one's not real, the big ones. But there are what we call props. There's basically tree limbs in there. So over on the other side of the exhibit, mostly Lots of tree limbs are put up in there, so there's still real bark for them to chew on as they would in the wild. And now I've just got a tail hanging out. Danielle asks, how can you tell them apart? So Teak is the mom. Right now she's the biggest, and usually the females are a little larger, so she should, in theory, remain the biggest of the marmosets. But as for the boys, Benito and Beignet, you can tell them apart by looking at their faces. So if you get a chance to look at both of them up close, Benito kind of has a bushier area of fur in between his eyes, a little bit of a furrowed brow, a serious face to match his serious personality. Beignet, on the other hand, he has big, wide moon eyes. He kind of looks at the world with this wonderful curiosity. And then Timmy is a different species, so he's easy to tell apart. He's a white-faced socky monkey. And as you can see, they all get along fine. In the wild, their species would overlap a little bit, but for the most part, white-faced socky monkeys, their species is a little bit more north. Jane asks, how are they named? So Teak, one of our previous coworkers, named her, but then Benny was the dad, so Beignet and Benito are named after their dad. They like their little mushroom shelves. And Pygmy marmosets would be cavity nesters, so they enjoy going into little holes like that. They have a little nest box where they sleep at night. And now Timmy's gonna join in. I want to thank you guys so much for joining in. Join us next Wednesday at 11 a.m. for another Facebook Live. And please do register for Miles for the Wild. It helps save animals in the wild, just like our little monkeys here.